We're going to talk about value stream insights today, a product ConnectALL has. And I want to set the stage a little bit on kind of my background and how this, I guess, came about. I came from a Fortune 150 company. We had multiple teams in multiple countries and time zones, and a wide variety of technology from Windows to Linux to mainframe to like 6 different database platforms. Um, we had a mentality, well, we had 2 different mentalities in the organization. Part of the company was very big on building everything we had. We were a software company and we wanted to build every bit of software we owned. The other half of the company believed in buying it and a leave no vendor behind mentality. So because of that, we had a wide array of tools for doing work, from Clarity to version 1 to Jira to homegrown testing frameworks and so on. And the issue that caused was nobody was speaking the same language. Our sprints were at different times. Our priorities were different values. There was always the question of where's my money going? How much more money is it going to take to get this project done? When am I going to get my feature? How does this work tie to the company's initiatives? We were tracking agile transformations, and being a retail organization, we obviously kind of halted our development for the holiday season. And so we always had this big cliff where we ended up having to let resources go and things of that nature, because as we winded down development, we had a lot of folks sitting around that didn't have anything to do until the holidays were over and we picked back up. So from that, we had a scenario, which is probably familiar to a lot of you guys, where you got a lot of different tools, and each tool is writing to different reports, and then everybody's giving those reports to executives or trying to tell a story that doesn't necessarily align with the other team's reports. So we went on a journey of building a dashboard, and the primary focus of that dashboard was I want to look at the status of my project against the burning of my money to understand, are the 2 in alignment? Am I getting the value for the money I'm spending? At what point do I necessarily or potentially go over budget? And how do those things work out? So we built something similar to what you see here. We're tracking our budget and cost here. We've got project completion percentage, tracking blockers and distribution of issues. And so this was something similar to what we built to tell that story. And that led into getting more metrics. We wanted to start understanding defects, and we wanted to start understanding flow time and things of that nature. Ultimately, I got laid off, moved on, and came to ConnectALL, where I helped to start building the Insights product. And so you ask, what is Insights? So it is a single scalable platform that allows us to connect to any tool that has a REST API and aggregate all of that data into a central data model and do that in real time. The benefits here are transparency and the ability to see what the organization is doing across the board from cradle to grave, whether it be financial information, whether it be story information, or whether it be code commits. We're able to look at all of that data on a single pane of glass and understand what's happening. Uh, because we're pulling all that data, we're also able to do it in a hierarchical format. So you can actually see the initiative and run that initiative all the way down to the bug or the story or the Jenkins job that's associated with that. This obviously facilitates huge communication, keeps everybody on the same page, and allows the company to take action and make intelligent decisions on speed to market for the organization. So imagine this scenario. You saw all these tools earlier. Now imagine all the tools are feeding into one location and you have a single view of that information. So you're able to marry your development reports with your QA reports, with your product reports, with your operations reports, and see a holistic view of what the company's doing. So let's demo it. So to set the stage here, this is a visualization of Mr. Carl's company that we've set up here. And what you can see is we're taking our ideas in from GTM, which is an OKR tool. We're feeding those to version 1. And those ultimately, the data gets fed to ALM. We have Jira for support, and we have SonarQube, Jenkins, and Bitbucket for our development, DevOps activities. And then lastly, down here, we have Clarity for financial data. So while these tools are integrated through ConnectALL and data is flowing back and forth, making everybody's life easier, what's also happening through our Insights adapter is that data is flowing into our Insights data model. So we're taking all of that data and pumping it into our data model to be able to generate reports. And we're doing all of that in real time without anybody having to do extra work. So your resources are living in the tools that they work in, living in the tools that they're used to, and behind the scenes, we're pulling that data in without people correlating spreadsheets or aggregating data together or running 15 reports that that have to be shared. And because all of that is in this data model, we're able to generate graphs and dashboards similar to what you see here. So these are some of the kind of standard metrics that you hear people talk about all the time. We have flow velocity or throughput, we have flow time or lead time, we have distribution, we have flow load or work in progress. And what's cool about this is if you'll notice, you've got support tickets from Jira, you have stories from version 1, you have objectives and key results from GTM. So not only are we aggregating multiple artifacts together, but we're pulling multiple artifacts and multiple tools into a single view, not multiple graphs on a single dashboard, but into a single graph on a single dashboard, giving you that holistic view into your ecosystem. One of the really cool ones that I think we have here is this flow utilization. And so what we're doing here is we're looking at resources that have created, been assigned to, or modified tickets across the ecosystem. And we're able to identify which resources are getting the most work and which resources are getting very limited or low work. And the intent here is not to get anybody in trouble or anything of that nature. But the idea is to understand, do we have bottlenecks? Are we assigning all of our work to Brett and overloading Brett where other team members maybe don't have enough work and allow us to kind of plane out that workload so we're getting taking full advantage of all of our resources, or maybe you don't want to do it by resources, maybe you want to do it by team, we can do that as well. But again, the idea is to flatline that so that we don't have bottlenecks on one person or one team, but we're planning that out, that we're getting full advantage of all of our resources. So these are some of the metrics we can grab. Again, because we're pulling in all of this data from all of these tools, really the sky's the limit on what metrics we can pull together, and depending on the story that you're trying to tell and the actions you're trying to take in the organization. But one of the really cool things is that hierarchical stuff I mentioned earlier. So if you look here, I have an initiative, actually I have a group of them, or a list of them here, but looking at the development health dashboard, we can see the initiative, the high level item that's driving the company, the tasks, the story, the requirements, and all the way down to the defects that are associated with that initiative. And I've got a list of them here. We can also see the percent complete. We can see the blockers associated with that initiative across, again, multiple artifacts, multiple tools, all in one view. And we're looking at the financials associated with that. So I can see, you can see here, I had my cost was moving along, I had my budget doing fine, and we suddenly had a massive spike in our cost, which caused us to infuse a bunch more money to be able to meet the need. Raises questions on why. Well, we're also looking at where the resource spend is. In this case, our business analyst is charging the most money against this initiative. Nothing necessarily wrong with that, but maybe ask a question of why. How can we level this out some more, so that we're, hopefully we can stay under budget on this particular project. But I can also click on the story here, display budget information, and I can drill into Mr. Carl's team view. So now I'm looking at the hierarchy of stories. I'm looking at flow utilization for that particular story, test execution time and test execution results. And maybe as a manager or a project manager, I'm really curious as to why I've got so many fails and no passes on my execution. I can click on and I can drill into Now an engineering view, and I'm looking at pull requests and code deploys from Bitbucket. I'm looking at SonarQube scans and Jenkins jobs results. And you can see here our jobs were failing quite a bit. Raised some flags for us to get involved and figure out why. And now we've got a steady flow of passes. So the goal here is, again, we're able to look at your entire organization and ecosystem from the initiative all the way down to code related items. We're able to do that in a single view, potentially a single chart if you want, and really tell a story and understand how can we make the company more efficient? How can we improve speed to market? And we're doing this all in real time without any additional manual or extra manual intervention. So that said, any questions, any comments, any thoughts on the metrics? Anything you didn't see here that maybe you want to discuss?